on the other end. Hang on one second. You may hear a uh, all righty. So everything is working fine. We're going to start ourselves off again because, as I said, today has been such a crazy day. I barely was able to get ready for you guys right now. Um, Let me just put this on here. Um, I also was trying to put on one particular set of earrings because I wear these earrings a lot. So I was trying to switch it up a little bit. And I tried to put on another pair of earrings, the ones with a back on it. Where that back is now, I have no idea. I did not even get a chance to even really comb my hair properly. So we're just gonna take it from here. Whatever comes, comes. Whatever doesn't, doesn't. We're just gonna get ready. I'm gonna light our beautiful candle. Ooh. Let's take a minute to breathe in. Whatever chaotic energies there are around me, let's release them. Just smooth down our energies a little bit, down into the pelvis, down into the thighs, down into the calves, into the ankles, into the feet. And let's give them to Mother Earth because maybe she could do something with them that we can't. Who knows? Who knows? Alrighty now. So I wanted to start out giving us a little bit of a reading. Oh, that's the other thing I did. I knocked down my whole stack of cards that I had on the side where I was going to pick a set to do a reading for you. So here, let me. Okay, I was able to grab the closest one without falling on the floor. Here we go. I know that wasn't what I was picking up before. So here we go. And we have our lovely goddess deck of Nerine Virtue, who, for some unknown reason, decided to give up on her own creations, but we're not going to. So here we go. Whew. Whew. And so I'm going to hold on a second. Whew. Everything is releasing. So I'm going to take 1 minute. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Di Savoie. I am the owner here of the Radiant Womb, and the Radiant Womb consists of our physical womb space in our bodies, as well as the vibrant energies of the sacral chakra. That's what the radiant womb is. And this is the place from which we procreate, we create, we have connection with our families, we create community. And so it's a very important space in our bodies for us women. All right. So now here we go, darlings. And let's see what card we get. Woo! And you know what? This card, the word, the name itself, Una, vibrates with the womb. That is like what the sound, one of the sounds of the womb. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is coming in divine timing. And that's Una. Okay. And so we need to remember this, that when we're in the feminine dimension, we are operating on divine timing, not human timing. So, what we need to really remember is that we don't have to push, we don't have to hustle. We need to allow for things to come into being at their own time. So, here we go, darlings. Um, and the first thing I want to do is remind us that we're going to be having a full moon on the 13th. And I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about the energies of the full moon. We know that the new moon is great for manifesting. The full moon is great for things to come to fruition. That's our natural um, harvest time is at the full moon. Think of it. I always think of the full moon as the pregnant woman who reaches the pinnacle of development, right? And she reaches all she does all that she can possibly do. And this is when she gives birth. And I don't know why this reminded me of this, but when I was a kid, I used to believe that when you reached perfect happiness, this was the time that you died, right? That people had to die happy. And I was watching the original, the way back with Jose Ferrer, original of Moulin Rouge, and it was about the artist's life, and he definitely did not die happy. Okay, in fact, he died the opposite of happy, and that was when I realized that you didn't have to be happy. That you didn't achieve happiness and then die, because he certainly didn't. He just like I think he was suffering from the DTs, which is what you get when you are detoxing from alcohol. And I can't remember whether he fell down the stairs or something happened. And I was completely devastated. But I thought that you didn't reach. What do you mean you don't reach perfect happiness and then die? But whatever. That was my my thought, but very young. Anywho, so now that we have our candle lit, and you know that I like to light the red candle is my great big, oh, great big red candle, which represents the womb and the divine feminine. Okay. One of these days, let's talk about creating a womb altar for you to have in your house. Okay. So let's start now with our full moon. We know that everything is coming to fruition, and so what I want you to do for a minute is think back to what were you trying to manifest on the new moon? Has that come forward for you? Is that something that you're bringing into your life right now? And maybe it is, right? Maybe you are able to right now will manifest those things that you were thinking of at that time. So let us know in the comments if the thing that you were trying to will manifest when we were in the new moon, if it's coming forward for you right now. Okay. Where was sparkle on my anywho? Um, the next thing I really want to talk about is this is a month of February, and among other things, February is a month in which we celebrate love. And so, what I want to talk to you about just a little tiny bit is um, the goddesses of love. And as you know from our work that we have done together, talking about the 13 goddess archetypes, goddesses of love and beauty are an archetype in and of themselves. Goddesses of love and beauty um, are seen throughout the world, and they go by many names. Okay, and they that all love isn't the same love, right? We have altruistic love, where one person or entity is giving selflessly to another. We have romantic love between men and women, and women and women, and men and men. Although, thanks to patriarchy, I'm sure that many of those stories that we would have heard of healthy um, uh, homosexual love, thanks to patriarchy, these did not survive, or they're not looked on as healthy, or they're not looked on as normal in our society. And that's a true belief of mine. Thanks to patriarchy, we are very heteronormative in the ways that we look at love. And I was also hearing something earlier today that I haven't done any research on yet. So take this with a grain of salt. And that is that in earlier times, before maybe the 1910s, 20s, 30s, something like that, where we really started to focus on what behaviors were um, heterosexual and homosexual, what was friendship like, and what was solely the province of a love relationship, that men and women, I mean, would like sleep in the same bed with their friend, and it was not something that was sexual, or hold hands, and it was not something that was sexual, or even hug and kiss, and it was not something that was sexual. And so when we look back at historical figures, we can't always judge their behavior by our modern standards, right? And that many people who may have been thought to be embracing um, one lifestyle or the other might be misinterpreted because of the fact that people were much more expressive before, say, like the Victorian era, where everybody was much more sensitive and aware of what behaviors might constitute what two men or two women might do together that might signal homosexuality rather than just friendship. And as I say, I haven't done any research on this, but that was an interesting thought, because I think that people used to be, and in some places other than the U.S., people are still much more affectionate with their friends, with their children, than we are here in the United States. Okay, so it's just something to think about. And if I do some research on that, I will definitely let you know what I find out. But for now, let's focus on those goddesses of love and beauty. And as I was saying, most every culture has a goddess that they consider to be one of love and beauty. And if you can think about it now, or if you can put it in the chat later, is there a particular goddess of love and beauty that you are familiar with, maybe from your own culture, maybe from literature, maybe from your own delving into different goddesses that you have done? If you have one in particular that you resonate with now, please put that in the comments. But let's get a little more into our goddesses of love and beauty. And the first thing that we really want to say about this is that we want to honor divine feminine love, no matter how it comes, no matter which way we see it. We want to be able to be embraced by the love of the divine feminine. And, it feels so much different when we think about creator energies. If we're thinking about um, feeling as if we are wrapped in the arms of Divine Mother, for example, it feels so much different than other kinds of energies we might feel wrapping themselves around us, loving us, guiding us, healing us, and protecting us. Okay. And so to be able to nurture that energy is very important in each of us. Okay. So, to be honest with you, the very first goddess of love that I became acquainted with was Venus. Venus is the Roman goddess of love and beauty, and her counterpart is Aphrodite, who is a Greek goddess of love, beauty, and pleasure. And that's one of the things that we need to remember too, as we are talking about love and beauty, and that part of the idea of love and beauty is that feeling of joy, of love, of compassion, um, and also of feeling pleasure, feeling good about yourself and others. And that if we are in love, whether we're talking about being in love with ourselves or being in love with anyone else or receiving love from someone else, that it should be done with pleasure, with joy, with ecstasy. And that if those things are not present, can we truly call it love? That's a question that we each have to answer in our own hearts when we're thinking about being in a relationship with someone else. I think sometimes we get in our particular society, we get into what they call struggle love. If you're not having to really put yourself out there for the other one, and if you don't really have to tear yourself apart just to please or satisfy the other person that you're with, that somehow this is not a valid form of love. And this could be further from the truth. Love is supposed to lift you up, even in hard times. Even in hard times, love is supposed to lift you up, to enliven you, to strengthen your heart. And if that's not what's happening, uh, maybe that's time for a evaluation of the love that you're seeing in your life. Okay. So now, let's take a moment and I want you to just close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to imagine a beautiful ocean. And that ocean has beautiful waves on its surface. Not too rough, but not too delicate. And from underneath the water, you see a figure emerging. And you can tell that she's not just a woman alone, she's riding something to the surface. You may not be able to see what it is. But as she gets closer and closer to the surface, you begin to make out her features, her beautiful hair, her skin tone, her facial features. And you see that she is standing on an open clamshell. And as she rises to the surface, you see all the animals of the ocean surrounding her. And they are all there to support her and to support you. She holds her arms out to you and she lets you know that she is the goddess Venus, the goddess Aphrodite. And she encourages you to take her hands. And as you do so, you're filled with such a warmth, a heat, a sense of pleasure, and a sense of fulfillment. And that any feelings of shame or reluctance to accept this pleasure melts away in the waters. And from the soles of your feet rising upward, you feel a calmness, a sereneness, an openness to all types of love that could come your way, to all types of pleasure that might come your way, to all feelings of joy and happiness that might come your way. And as these feelings continue to rise, they come into your crown and they spill over and down throughout your whole body. And you are filled with a feeling of self love and self compassion that enables you to let go of any feelings of self doubt or unworthiness that you are holding on to. You release them. And as you do so, you open your eyes and you realize the hands you're holding now belong to the goddess Kwan Yin, the bodhisattva of love and compassion. And you realize that the greatest compassion you can have is for yourself, to forgive yourself and to release any guilt, any regret, any worry that you may still be holding on to. And at the same time, you feel a lotus growing at your heart center, a beautiful lotus of infinite flower petals that grows and expands and stretches out to infinity to encompass yourself and every other living being on the planet. Just sit in this energy for a moment. And then bring your energy back into your heart. And imagine there's a silver thread that goes from your heart down into the radiant womb, the sacred womb. And place your hands there. You feel another goddess's hands. You feel her place her hands on top of your hands. If you take a moment to breathe in, and breathe deeply into this sacred space. And the goddess Isis has placed her hands over your hands. She is the goddess of childbirth and magic. And through your hands, you feel the healing energies of the goddess reaching deep inside you into your energy field. And because she's a triple goddess, she can clear both the energies of your present womb and your complete lineage, going backward to your ancestors and forward to your progeny. And as she puts her hands on yours, there's such a subtle vibration, but a powerful one that clears and strengthens your genetic and epigenetic patterns. So that all of the energy you hold now is crisp, clean, vibrant, and loving. And as we have called in these three goddesses, intentionally or not, we release them, but we ask that the energies that they have helped cleanse, purify, and strengthen remain so for as long as they are needed. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Blessed be Aho, Amen, Ashe. Phew. Now, I must confess to you that I had not intended to do that at all. It just came upon me as I was talking, that meditation. So I hope that that was powerful for you as it was for me. And I hope that you will continue to connect with love goddesses, not just the ones we've talked about here, but other love goddesses such as Freya, who represents, as a Norse goddess that represents like bold energy, bold action. She's very sensual. She's all about fertility. Or the goddess Oshun, who is another goddess of love and beauty, who is from the Yoruba tradition, which you might want to find out more about. Who you may be a little familiar with her, um, especially because she is linked with like the honeybee, the honey pot, and definitely with sensuality and and with pleasure. But that doesn't mean she won't kill you. Okay, so I hope you will continue to um, learn more about the goddesses of love and compassion and sensuality and sexuality. as we move forward. Um, Please join my group, the Radiant Womb, on Facebook, where we talk about this stuff more in depth. And I will see you next time. And I really love being with you guys here on the Radiant Womb. Bye bye.